about to lose your phone.
Good to go.
You all ready?
Yep.
Skip Holbrook, Columbia Police Chief.
Brian Sterling, Director of South Carolina Department of Corrections.
Well, two things we're happy to announce. First of all, the officer is recovering well. Her name is Ashley Hardesty. She's 26 years old. She's been employed with the Columbia Police Department since July of 2015. She's assigned to the North Region Patrol, and she was working directed patrol out here when this incident occurred. At 10:45 this morning, we're very happy to announce that our suspect was apprehended about 4 miles from here. And I'll let Director Sterling speak to that. This was obviously a very critical incident for us. We're very happy that the officer is okay, but this came to a successful conclusion, and it would not have happened had it not been for all the assets that were out here and all the collaboration between law enforcement, between Department of Corrections, SLED, Richland County Sheriff's Department, Lexington County. It's been a true team effort. I can't say enough about our officers and them stepping up, pushing through a very long night without complaint. And again, our officer is very, very fortunate. It was a routine, if there's ever such a thing as a routine call, a shoplifting call, that our officers, especially out in this area, respond to, hundreds of times a year. And it ended up being an encounter with a violent escaped prisoner.
And before we move forward, can you just spell her name for us?
Ashley Hardesty, Hardesty, and Ms. Timmons will provide photograph and give you any more information about her.
Brian Sterling, Department of Corrections. I want to thank Chief Holbrook. I want to thank his police officers. I'm very thankful. The officer is on the road to recovery. She's a very brave young lady for what she did last night. I want to thank SLED. I want to thank Richland County and Lexington County for all the work, and our officers who were here all night. This place was packed last night with law enforcement officers out there looking without sleep all night for this escapee, and it was successful. And without that work together, we may not have found him. So we rely on our local law enforcement for a lot, and they were there and very helpful. So without them and the partnerships that we formed, he may still be on the run. So it's very good that we found him today.
Mr. Sterling, can you tell us any more about how he was able to escape?
We believe he may have used a food truck, but I want to give you all accurate information. So what we're going to do is we're going to investigate that and find out, and we'll be happy to let you know once we know how that happens. But that's the belief now at this time. But we will update you when we do our internal investigation and find out how that happened.
Now, the two times, the time that you believe that he may have escaped and the time of the call for the stabbing, there's also a good amount of time that he would have had to travel. Are those times being adjusted, or are those...
We're looking at that now, yes, to find out. And when you get first reports, they're not always accurate, so we want to get you accurate times, and that's what we're looking at now. And we'll get those to you as soon as possible.
The time, not that he escaped at 8:50, but that was when it was verified that he was missing.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
How long of a time frame might there have been between when y'all noticed he was missing and when was the last head count before that?
Right, that's part of the investigation, and we'll let you know when we do, when that comes out.
And do we know if anybody may have helped him to get out that way?
That's also going to be part of the investigation. We don't know at this point in time.
Amongst the 6 different level 3 facilities that you guys have, where does McCormick stand compared to those other 5, or are they all on the same level?
They're all the same. Long-term offenders are housed at those institutions. 2 fences.
And was it CPD that had made the arrest, or different agencies?
He was arrested in the jurisdiction of Lexington City. Lexington City was responding to a call for service there, and as you can imagine, we had multiple agencies converged on the area.
He's being transferred back to McCormick?
No, he will not go back to McCormick. We won't tell you where he's going, but he'll come back to SCDC. We've got warrants on him for escape. there's also warrants, for him on the assaulting the officer, so that will all work itself out.
After the stabbing, did he leave on foot? Was he driven away? Do y'all know how he managed to leave the store?
He engaged the officer, stabbed her multiple times. She got back up off the ground, pursued him by foot, and lost him in the wood line. There was a massive response of on and off duty law enforcement. Throughout the night there was a ground search by the officers. It involved K9, air support. That continued well into this morning, and that's where we're at today.
You mentioned it was a call for service. If you had managed to capture him in Lexington, was it somebody that actually recognized him? Was that a call that they'd seen this guy, or was it something?
We've had dozens of calls this morning.
Okay.
Of people meeting general descriptions, and this was one of those where officers just were circulating in the area trying to locate a suspicious person.
So officers spotted what looked like the suspect and then found out he was, and
yes.
They were able to take him to custody.
And
did he give any resistance at all?
No, he didn't, and he confirmed that he was in fact the escapee. And we have detectives that are in the process of talking to him now about the incident at the Walmart.
Do we have a record of how many inmates? I know McCormick was back very, very long ago, but how many inmates have escaped from McCormick?
Just checked about 30 years ago. I believe they had escaped clearly before my time, and we asked someone, so I think it was 1998 or 88. I'm sorry, 88. So almost 30 years ago was the last escape from McCormick. So been some time.
Did you say where you caught him at? I know it was in the Lexington City, but did you say?
It was on Sunset Drive in the 300 block.
Probably what's the address again?
43.
43.
And do you know what he was trying to shop? Well, I guess, did she encounter him as he was trying to leave the store with merchandise?
No, sir.
Was it somebody that called a loss prevention agent?
That's
Can
correct.
you kind of tell us how that unfolded?
He was observed concealing merchandise. And they called law enforcement, and they were in the process of taking him back to the loss prevention area and conducting a search when he turned on the officer.
Now, when he was arrested, did he have a weapon on him?
He stabbed the officer.
When he was arrested?
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Was that weapon something he obtained in the Walmart, or was it something that he had on him maybe before? Follow my thought there.
I do, and I can't answer that with certainty. That'll be something hopefully we can determine during the investigation.
Did you guys have the weapon?
We recovered a knife yesterday.
Chief, was the officer wearing a vest, and if so, did that help?
She was wearing a protective vest. She had multiple stab wounds, shoulder, arm, and one of the things that we're not 100% clear on, we still got to examine the clothing and her vest. We don't know if that, was able to take a hit from a knife or not. Her wounds were defensive, and she turned her body and then went down to the ground. We don't know for certain yet.
And I apologize if you've already stated this, but do we know how many times he was stabbed?
She was treated for 2 stab wounds on her left arm and shoulder. Well, I think it's another example of the partnerships that exist in the Midland area and really throughout this state. We didn't have to pick the phone up and call anybody. They self-reported here, and that's the way I found it always to be. Everybody looks for something to do. No complaints, a lot of courage and determination. There was no doubt in my mind we were going to catch this person. It was just a matter of when.
Is Officer Hardesty still in the hospital, or is she released?
She was released this morning. I talked to her about an hour ago. She's resting comfortably. She's aware that the suspect's in custody, and she's very upbeat. It's pretty inspiring being around young officers. She's a young officer, and she demonstrated so much courage yesterday, and she's ready to get right back in the fight. she truly exemplifies service before self.
Chief, what time was the stabbing incident over here?
It was about 9:30 last night.
Is that it?
Anything you guys want to add?
Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Happy holiday. Thank y'all.
You go get them pictures and
Yeah.
anything else. All right.
Ashley.
What's that?
Her first spelling of Ashley. Ashley.
Thank you.
I know, Ashley.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer.